There is a very thin line between tactical brilliance and absolute track and field chaos, and the Commonwealth Games distance events sprinted right across it. We saw Josh Kerr prove that when you're in world record form, you can do anything and still make the rest of the world-class field look like they're fighting for second place. But before we get into the elbows and haymakers of that wild mile, we have to talk about the 800 meters because Navasky Andersen gave one of the most desperate, incredible photo finishes you will ever see. Here is the 2026 Commonwealth Games review for the distance events for men. So we're going to start off in the 800 meter semifinals just because of how incredible it actually was. Specifically Heat 2. The race is out really fast. Kira Benny takes the lead, but around 400 meters in, just before, Bergen doubles down on the pace and takes everyone through the 400 meters in 50.35 seconds, and he continues to push. These athletes know what times they have to run in order to qualify for the finals, so Bergen is just doubling down, making sure that he wants to be one of those times. And Navasky Andersen keeps on the inside lane in the pack. We see him do this time and time again, which is so impressive for someone who's 6'4". He's able to navigate behind people in a pack when people are beside him, behind him, and in front of him. And when you have long levers, long legs, and a long stride, it's just so hard to do because you're always clipping someone and you're always running the same stride as someone else, which is smaller than yours and very inefficient. That's why we see the likes of David Rudisha and Marco Arop always going right to the front, or in Arop's case, the front or the back. But back to the race. Andersen pulls up on Bergen with 100 meters to go. Bergen is starting to swim, and Andersen starts to pass, but he starts swimming too. He's tired. They went out fast. And here comes the Aussies and Loti from Kenya. There's 5 of them, and the wheels are falling off. Bergen is going further and further back, and Navasky is moving backwards. He starts leaning 10 meters out forward and desperately dives across the finish line. I mean, just look at this craziness the last 30 meters. Navasky dives for 4th place. And remember, it's top 3 next 2 fastest times that make the finals. When the official times were read, Bergen, who came 5th, didn't make the finals, less than 0.2 of a second off. But Navasky Andersen makes the finals by 0.13 seconds. If he did not dive at the end, he would not have made it. When you're leaning like that, you have to 100% commit because you're so tired and your hips are so forward that any pullback like this, any back straightening, you're going to slow down by more than 1/10 of a second. And the fact that he said, screw it, I'm going to commit and dive was so impressive and just shows the hunger he had to make the finals. And I love going through stuff like this because this is what track is all about. This is what middle distance is all about. It's the hunger, it's the grit. It's what training feels like when you're exhausted. It feels like a dive across the finish line. And Andersen did it. And in doing so, he has one of the funniest photo finishes of all time. I mean, take a look at this and judge for yourself. When I saw this live, I was actually laughing pretty hard. And the 800 meter finals was another doozy. Look at these veteran racers when they break in 100 meters in. Nobody is committing to lane 1. And look at Kenyamal of Kenya. He goes into lane 2. He wants to make sure that if everyone's collapsing in, he's not getting cut off and he's not getting boxed in right away. Everyone wants to see how the race is going to play out before they hit the second corner. And between 20 and 30 meters to go before the corner, everyone collapses in. And Kinyamai finds himself in first place. In the first 400, they're out in 52 low. Once again, we find Andersen tucked in front of the crowd. He's in second place. And the pack is so tight that it's spilling out into lane 2. 52 seconds low is not that fast for an opening 400 for these guys. It is a slow, moderate pace. And for the next 200 meters, they stay coiled like a spring. You can see the triangle. Everyone wants a chance to make or match a move. The order hasn't changed. Bowl is on the outside. Boys is on the outside. Loti is on the outside of him. And then Pattison of England, all the way back, is on the outside as well. But in all of this, look at Andersen. 200 meters later, he's still in lane 1. Like I said, I love the way he races. He races 800 meters as much as he can, unless it's absolutely worth the risk to swing in lane 2. He's running the minimum distance. With 100 meters to go, Kinyamai puts in a surge for home. Bowl, who's on his side, can't follow. And here comes Andersen. This opens the way for Andersen to swing out and sprint for home, and he wins by a mile. He timed that race perfectly for a man who barely made the finals, dived just to make it. He came back in the finals and showed absolutely why he is the best 800 meter runner in the Commonwealth, at least for everybody there. You can tell he's been working with Marco Arop with how good his racing tactics are. Boys of Australia takes second place with an exceptional race, and Kinyamai hangs on for third. Next we have the mile. Josh Kerr is in prime form after setting the world record a couple of weeks ago, 342.66. He's by far the favorite to win this race. Defending Commonwealth champion Ollie Hoare and up-and-coming superstar Australian Cameron Myers is in the race. 2022 world champion in the 1500 meters is also on the starting line, and the veteran legend Timothy Cheruiyot is also joining them. And this race was an absolute cage match. 13 athletes committed to a crawl, and there were some absolutely haymakers thrown in this race. The pushing and the shoving and the accidental bumping was constant. They're very lucky nobody fell. But even though there was all this bumping, all of these people stepping on the inside of the track, nobody went. Everybody was still committed to this 60 to 63 second pace. Cheruiyot was getting manhandled in the back half of the pack, and then with about 630 meters to go, he said screw it, and he just ran to the front. And with his loping stride, it really benefited him. Ollie Hoare, for most of the race, stayed right at the back. He was okay with avoiding trouble being a second back from the leaders, seeing that everybody in front of him was bumping into each other and racing with an inefficient stride. He was like, okay, I'm just going to hang at the back. But even though he was hanging at the back, he was still a bit far back for my liking. I mean, if you're hanging out the back to stay out of trouble, you have to have the opportunity to strike at some point. You have to make your move. By the time the leaders make their move before you, you're already a second back and everybody's moving so slow. And with 500 meters, Ollie Hoare found the opportunity to do so and instead totally neutralized himself. He was staying at the back and then ran on the inside of lane 1 when there was a triangle developing, meaning everyone in the triangle is waiting to make their move or waiting for someone else to make their move. The people on the inside can't make the move because when you're on the inside, there's people in front of you and at the side. So I just don't understand why Hoare just saw his opportunity, he stayed out of trouble, and then runs right in the pack. And he ran right in the pack with 500 meters to go when you know the kicks are going to start happening in the next 200 meters. I just thought it was misjudged by Hoare or just an outright mistake. But with 600 meters to go, we hit a critical part of the race. There's a few racers here who can gain a massive advantage by going now. Because in 200 meters with a lap to go, this race is going to look a lot different. And a lot of the advantage that some of these athletes would have had if they went is now no longer there. Let's look at the field with 600 to 500 meters to go. Look how packed everyone is. Look how spread out everyone is from lane 1 to lane 2. There are a lot of runners struggling to get their place. Everybody's accelerating, decelerating, trying to find their way on the outside so they have the opportunity to make a move. Yet Cheruiyot and Myers are at the front and they're just chilling. If they had more race awareness, they would have started going. They would have dropped a 27.5 at that point of the race. Because your number one threat is Josh Kerr, the world record mile holder who has a massive kick, arguably the best kick in the world when he wasn't the world record mile holder. Cheruiyot made a smart choice by taking the lead, but why did he stop? Why did Myers tuck in right beside him? Because in another 200 meters, we saw Josh Kerr make a panic move. He did the old, I'm gonna slow down and start swinging my way out because it almost looked like Kerr pointed. Around 450 meters to go, he was slowing down, swinging on the out. He pointed to the outside lane, and Eamonn of Kenya didn't see him point or just didn't care. And Kerr just swung out anyways, just nudged him away and then just swung out. And Jake Whiteman's awareness of what was happening is legendary. He steps out himself and blocks Kerr from taking the lead, and now has one step on him. But Kerr is so fit and just doesn't care and surged to the front anyways. He put himself in third place on the outside of lane 1 behind Cheruiyot and Myers. And at this point, the race is over. You're not beating the mile world record holder who has a great kick in a 400-meter sprint with a lap to go. Before the race, Josh Kerr was the immediate favorite to win. With 600 meters to go, his chances at winning were the smallest it's ever been. He was not in a good spot. If Myers or Cheruiyot went, it would have been a different race and Kerr would have been in massive trouble. I'm not saying he wouldn't have won. I'm saying it would have been so much closer. Instead, they waited for Kerr to make a move with 300 meters to go and then let him take the lead into the final corner. And at that point, it's just how many meters are you going to lose by? And that's what this race felt like, a race for second. They waited until Kerr solidified his win and then everyone else battled it out amongst each other for the remaining places. Kerr's move between 500 and 400 was a panic move. And if there was any race awareness beyond Whiteman, I don't think Kerr would have dominated nearly as much. He might have not even won. Albeit you don't have eyes at the back of your head if you're the leaders, so you don't really know where everybody is, but use some race experience. You know the race is slow. You know Kerr's coming. If you look beside you and you don't see Josh Kerr with 400 meters to go, or with 450 meters to go, or even sooner, 550 meters to go, now's your chance to go. Because you know he's somewhere back there, and he might not be in a good spot. The more time you have on him going into the final lap, the better. But again, in my opinion, they were more worried about racing each other for second than they were to race Kerr for the win, and I think the race just really played out that way. Kerr is just so much better than everyone else. He was at such a disadvantage with 600 to go, and then with 300 to go, he's in the best spot out of anybody, purely based off of, I'm going to push everyone out of the way, sprint to the front, and then keep going to the finish line. You can do that when you're just way better than everyone. I haven't seen this kind of dominance since Ingebrigtsen. Sometimes you're just so much better, it doesn't even matter what you do. Kerr closed his last 200 in something like 25.3 seconds too. What a world-class athlete. What a one-of-a-kind world-class athlete. The way this race was run, Kerr could have sung the first verse of "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands" on the starting line before he started running and still won. The 3,000-meter steeplechase was another tactical race. Defending world champion George Beamish was on the starting line, but after his performance in the mile semifinals and not making the finals, there was some doubt he would be in prime form for the steeple. The first kilometer was out in 2:54 before the Kenyans just did their thing. Before long, it was clear that the Kenyans were going to sweep the podium, and they clipped down the pace in the last 4 laps and resumed their long-standing dominance of the event. Surem first, Koech second, and Bet third. In the 10,000 meters, it was a rainy one. It really epitomized what distance running is all about. True grit. You had 4 sub-27-minute 10K athletes on the starting line and another premier field in this Commonwealth Games. The race started off as a jog, out in 2:57, but then the paces were cut down after that, but not much. We even saw a Ugandan athlete fall between 4,000 and 5,000 meters, and he just got up and kept going. But look at the recovery he made when he fell. He gets clipped, falls, slides on the ground, anchors his leg, and then just pushes his way back up like he's practiced it. I've never seen a more graceful recovery in a race from falling down, and the rain probably even helped him a little bit in this instance. The whole race had messy cross-country vibes to it. Later in the race, it turned into the Kai Robinson show as he took the lead with that mechanical stride of his and made the race his own. With 2 laps to go, the race is down to 6 athletes. Kurgat is on the shoulder of Robinson, Singh of India is looking good, and everyone is gritting their teeth. They're starting to work hard at this point. But with a lap to go, Robinson is winding down the pace more and more. The way he runs, it barely looks like he's moving any faster, yet the field is stringing out. And then with 100 to go, Kurgat can't hold on any longer, and Singh passes him, then Malarkey, but it's Robinson who wins by a mile with an incredible performance. Seeing Singh come second in the 10K was very inspiring. I mean, India is going through a renaissance right now for distance running. I've called this a few years back. When I'm on social media, when I'm on Instagram Reels, I'm constantly swiping through and seeing these big track camps in India, something I've never really seen before. So this is going to be great for global distance running in the future, the more Indians that get involved just because of their sheer population. In the 5,000 meters, I don't know if I've ever seen a field this big in a championship race before. 25 athletes. Some massive hitters in this race like Muhammad Ahmed of Canada, Kai Robinson of Australia off that 10K gold medal, Justin Knight is returning into form too, a 12:47 guy, Kemboy of Kenya is a sub 13-minute guy, so is Matthew Kipsang, and then Singh from India is looking for a double medal too. Ahmed leads the first 1,400 meters at a slow pace before Mofolo takes the lead. The pack is 2 lanes wide, and Kai Robinson got himself on the inside of lane 1 running near the front, running the optimal distance. Kibet of Uganda takes it from there. These are slow races, and the leaders will constantly change as the racers get antsy. Singh of India at this point is right behind Robinson in lane 1, also running an optimal distance race. 3,000 meters in, and the pack is still massive and 2 lanes wide. Matthew Kipsang takes the lead, and Robinson senses the danger. He swings onto Kipsang's shoulder, just waiting for a move to be made so he can go at any moment. So now he's on the shoulder of Kipsang with 3.5 laps to go. With a lap to go, it's an 8-man race. Ahmed, like so many times before, sprints to the front at the bell. But he can't quite get there, and he starts to fade after that. With 200 meters to go, Robinson gets boxed in. He can't move anywhere. He let people pass him and people pull up beside him. Kipsang is in the clear, no one can go with him, and he wins gold. But Robinson has a lot left. He finally finds some daylight to move with 100 meters to go. He swings wide, he gets second place, Singh of India gets third. I'm sure Robinson is kicking himself for not being able to get out and challenge Kipsang for the win, but I don't think it would have mattered. It was a great race by Kipsang. And that's the summary of the distance events. I didn't hear too many people talking about the Commonwealth Games beyond the sprints on social media and all of the normal running websites. I think this Commonwealth Games was extremely underrated. I thought it had some great races and it had a great field in lots of events, but that's just me. But if you like this video, then you're going to love my review on Josh Kerr's world record in the mile and just how revolutionary it actually is. So come on, I'll see you guys there. You'll see this at the middle of the screen.